3 key metrics to align on before building your budget. Talked about lag, right? How many days does it actually take for a lead to turn into an opportunity, and how many days does it take for that opportunity to turn into something that has a pipeline? How many people have rules around this? Like how many days it can stay a $0 base? Of course the serious guy has rules around that. So we didn't. And then we started doing it, past stage 2, it had to have a dollar amount. So we talk a lot about implied pipeline, right? So we take that ASP, so for us it's about 75K, and we times it by the number of opportunities that marketing's generated. And it gives us a back of the napkin feel of what we think we've actually created. But that also ties back, if you've got the model done correctly, and I'll show you an example, ties back to where spend, right? You spend today doesn't mean it's gonna come out the other end tomorrow, right? It's gonna take time. So you have to figure out for your business, what is that time lag? And it's super important when you're planning and you're talking to finance so that they understand if I pay $250,000 to go sponsor the B2B in the Black conference, don't raise my rate, that it's not gonna immediately turn into something that they can see on a spreadsheet. Does that make sense? How many people do that? How many people take lag? Okay. Yeah.
How do you get comfortable with that number? That's risk, right? That's,
yeah.
Is that really going to work, right?
Right.
Right? What is that conversation?
So Jay said it's trust, right? Based on the performance of the things that you've done in the past, and I'm not going to go do something that I think is just fun and a chance for me to get up here and speak and tell my story, right? There's got to be something coming out the other end of it from a pipeline perspective. But I also think it's understanding what each channel does, right? Like if I say, I'm going to go do these events, I know they're not pipeline acceleration events. This is where I'm going to get a bunch of net new names. And I know that net new name to MQL or net new name to Opti is about 60 days. Come see me in 60 days, right? And if I say that thing sucked, we're never going to do it again, that's usually good enough, right? You could do a couple of those and they're like, all right, she's not trying to do stuff just to do stuff. And it's okay to say it didn't work, right? It's okay to say we tried this thing. Like we're doing a bunch of new events this year and I have no historical on it and I had to go ask for the money and I got it. But if that doesn't work, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say, you know what, we tried it, it didn't work, something went wrong. Either we didn't promote it right or it was the wrong audience, so we're never gonna do it again, right? So you learn every time, even if you do something that doesn't create some sort of return. Okay. So the other common mistake that I think what marketers do and finance people do is take a average conversion rate across all your channels. Don't ever do that. It creates such a false positive. So the chart on the left-hand side is taking an average, right, to get you to the forecast of the number of opties, right, for every single channel. So if I take that average, it gets me 188. Or no, that's specific, sorry, wrong one. Specific for every single channel. If I do the same thing and take a 4% just average across the board, I get a very different number of opties. And when you talk about opties that are worth 75 to 100K per, that completely screws up your forecast. So treat every single channel as a unique channel when you're doing this kind of reporting. Know that they're good for certain things, either creating brand new leads or pushing leads through, but they have very different conversion rates, and make sure you take that into consideration when you do your plan. Does that make sense? Because I've done that, thinking like, ooh, quick. No, don't do that. Okay. Spend to pipe ratio. Does anybody use this? Yeah? So I had a CEO at Host who's no longer there, Dave Kellogg. He blogs a lot. He's a marketer turned CEO, which if you've never worked for a CEO that was a former CMO, it's painful. You learn a lot, but it's painful. But one of the things that we came up with was measuring this way, right? So from not just spend to lead, but spend to actual pipe creation. Serious Decisions has a rule 4x, 3x, 1x, 1x, right? So you're always looking 4 quarters out with how much coverage you have. So when you do it this way and you do the attribution right, you can really then see every channel and their impact on every part of the pipeline. So I got asked the question 2 quarters ago, if we gave you another $150,000, Christelle, where would you spend it? And I said, I have a middle of the funnel conversion problem. Middle of the funnel conversion means field marketing because it's all about accelerating that pipe. I want $150,000 to go do 10 events, 12 events in the month of June to go push that pipeline through to opportunity. That was a really easy conversation to have when you have something like this, right? Where I can show that the highest producing channel for me, a middle touch, right? So they've done a few things, they haven't actually converted yet. The biggest impact is going to be field marketing.